Well, I just wanted to begin this interview, as I was just saying before I pushed record. Anna from Blind with a Vision, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for joining me today. And as you have learned, this is basically an opinion podcast where we take an hour out of our day to speak about the most important issues around the blindness community. Basically, I would like you to talk about, and of course, I will interject and help by asking questions as we walk through the conversation together. But I would like you to focus on, who you are as a person, your blindness journey, what Blind with a Vision is, and then the other huge issue is that there are a lot of problems and challenges going on around the visually impaired and blind community all over the world. And one of the things that I want to be able to start doing is actually starting to really solve these problems, not pretending to solve these problems. So I know that you can be a tremendous asset to Aaron's opinion, definitely getting Aaron's opinion all the way into Latin America and all over the Spanish world. So basically, go take it from the top. Who's Anna? How did you become blind? Who's Blind with a Vision? And what problems do you want to start solving around the world? So go for it.
Here I go. Aaron, thank you so much for inviting me. And excuse me if I don't pronounce your name the way it should be. Okay. I've been calling you Aaron, and I switch back and forth.
Aaron, yes, I love Aaron. Aaron is fine.
Aaron is in Spanish. Yes,
yeah, that's cool. That's strong though. It's a strong sound. Yeah, Aaron is cool. Call me Aaron. Yes.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Well, thank you for inviting me. And well, I've been checking your content, and Blind with a Vision wants to join your opinion and work together.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely.
So thank you so much for inviting me. Well, Anna, who's Anna? Well, Anna is actually not from Spain. I actually was born in Mexico. My family, grandparents, and on both sides, they actually, came from Spain. As you know, the Spaniards went to Mexico and Central South America and conquered the area. So we are a product of that, right? So I was born in Mexico, but I grew up here in the United States, in Southern California. I live here in about 10-15 minutes away from the most famous mouse on earth, Mickey Mouse. So I'm a neighbor of Disney here. I am diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, and I was diagnosed when I was 19 years old. I'm sure you're pretty familiar with retinitis pigmentosa, and your followers and subscribers, I'm sure they are. So retinitis pigmentosa is a retina disease, retina degeneration, and you start losing your sight gradually, which was my case. I actually had the tunnel vision. Some people, they lose their sight, on the central area, but for me it was the tunnel vision, which gave me time to kind of adjust into the whole blindness. I'm a guide dog user. I just retired my guide dog Capri, now during the pandemic. But before this, I had 2 yellow labs from Guide Dogs for the Blind. And I'm guide dog dependent. And my YouTube channel, it used to have my name for years. It was Anna, and my last name is very confusing. Everyone called me Garcia, but it's not Garcia. It's Garz as in zebra, YA. It's Garcia. Here in the States, they pronounce it Garcia. Anna with double N, Anna Garcia or Anna Garcia. And I actually modify or change the name on my channel to Blind with a Vision, to reflect, really what I want to share out there, even though this has been changing throughout, the years. I actually initiated my YouTube channel when I was going to college. I was doing my first master's degree. I have actually a master's in counseling with an emphasis in marriage and family therapy, which is the degree that I have used in the last years, working as a psychotherapist, doing one-on-one individual therapy. And then I went back to school just for fun, And I did a second master's in gerontology, and gerontology studies the aging process, a degree that actually changed my whole perspective in life. Love it. I always, since I was little and a teenager, I always enjoy older people. So I love that degree, and I've been also combining those two degrees in the last years. It's when we're talking about working out there, doing therapy with older people, psychoeducational support groups, and well, I can share more about that. But during one of my semesters at Cal State Fullerton, I believe it was my last semester during the program, during the psychotherapy or counseling program. We were supposed to do a project. It was a whole semester project, and it was six of us or five, I forgot. They were, as always, they were all sighted. I was always the blind in the class. And someone in class used to work as a supervisor in the transportation program for the disabled here in Orange County. I live in Orange County, here in Southern California. And he suggested to do a project about disabilities. And well, it was perfect for me. And I was wondering, like, what? Each one of us has to take 20 minutes to present the whole project during the whole, it was about the whole semester. So I actually, I thought, what do I do? 20 minutes. So I actually had guidebooks for the blind. My first two guidebooks were from Guidebooks for the Blind in San Rafael in California. And then my second one was from Oregon. And they had invited me to do a video to advertise the whole school, into the Spanish community. They interviewed me. They did an article with my second guide when I was in Oregon. And then they called me back to ask me if I wanted to do a commercial. So they paid for everything, the flight and everything. My mom came with me. And I actually, we did a very interesting and fun video in Spanish with my guide walking on the streets, crossing the streets, showing how when you're walking on the street and there is a driveway and cars are coming out or going in, how the guide works, pushing you back or just walking quickly, measuring if the car is close or far, and just measuring when it's safe to cross or not. It was a lot of fun. So I did that video, that video for the school. And from that video I go like, what if I create a YouTube video to share how I use JAWS and how a screen reader works when you are a college student. And that's what I did. Ask a friend to actually help me open up the YouTube channel, but I never thought I would actually continue with that. I did the video, played that in class, played the one from Guidance for the Blind, and then we open up for questions. If I remember correctly, I think I was the one before the last person who did presented their portion of the presentation. But all the questions and the whole class got very interested. Not a lot of people used to have a YouTube channel, because my YouTube channel has been around for 10 years, Aaron. And my classmates were like, YouTube channel? Really? How do you do it? And everyone is asking. But people in class were very, very interested in learning how I was, reading books and doing my homeworks and projects. And I mean, this was a class that was my cohort in class, right? We were there for semesters and semesters, and no one ever knew, or I guess they didn't ask, I didn't offer. But from there, I found it very helpful, Aaron, to actually do presentations for my classes. And when I went into the gerontology program, I actually took the opportunity to just share about the use of accessible technology within the older population, because of the age-related eye diseases. That's what I did my thesis on. So I did presentations, and I found it, very helpful, easier for me. People was always very interested, asking a lot of questions, got pluses. And at the same time, I was just sharing out there. But I never would tell anyone that I had a YouTube channel. In fact, I actually just told my siblings about a year ago that I have a YouTube channel and that I actually was able to monetize during the pandemic. No, I don't know if you want to, am I focusing on the right information? I don't know. Maybe I always, Aaron, Blind with a Vision always has so much to share and tell out there, just like Aaron and his opinion.
My opinion is everything that you've already said is fabulous, perfect. Yeah, and I also was a guide dog user as well. I had a guide dog from Guiding Eyes for the Blind on the New York side. So I'm a huge supporter of guide dogs. I'm also aware and very frustrated by all of the challenges and all of the debate around the blindness community as it relates to guide dogs. So that's most definitely a critical issue, a huge one. And I mean, as far as you not necessarily sharing the fact that you have a YouTube channel with your closest relatives, I actually do the same for maybe a wide variety of reasons. But the one thing that I've noticed, and the one thing I can tell you, is you don't need to tell people you have a YouTube channel. What you need to do is produce content that is consistent and is in alignment with your goals and your audience. If you only know your audience, then people do secretly find out about these things, very slowly but very surely. So that's a really critical aspect, is to produce content that is helpful to others, and then other people will notice over a span of years. You know, it certainly does not happen overnight. And I think your field of study is really appropriate. It's really appropriate in two different ways. I see so many different stories around the various blindness groups that I'm on Facebook, or even around the WhatsApp sphere. And there's so many issues that blind people are having with their families, whether they're single, whether they're dealing with parents, boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives. There's so many issues with families that really, family counseling is really critical. And I think that has become far more important now than ever with all of the stress of our lives with the pandemic and everything like that. So, I mean, that's really good. And then, of course, it makes sense to study aging because hopefully someday we'll be old. So that's a fact.
Exactly.
That's a fact.
That's right.
That's a fact of life. That makes very good sense to study that. And no, I don't know why. By the way, I don't know why I thought you were Spanish when in fact you're from Mexico. I don't know. Maybe you mentioned Spain in one of the videos, and I just thought, oh, you must be Spanish.
I actually always mention Spain because a lot of my subscribers and many of my friends are from Spain. So
Okay.
I'm into the whole Spain community.
Okay, so you're kind of like a Spanish. You're basically a Spanish person who
Yes.
who grew up in Mexico, but actually lives in the United States, like that. Yes, I
Yes,
see.
actually, yes. My
I
parents
see.
have always been here, especially my dad. My dad has been here since he was a teenager,
Right.
and he's way older now. And yes, so I grew up here. My primary language was Spanish, of course. And yeah, yes, I
Right.
learn English here and still learning. Everyone usually asks, "Where am I from?" and they comment on my accent. And I used to get a little sensitive years ago. And as we're getting older and maturing, you focus on the important things. And hey, here I am. I'm bilingual, learning Italian as well.
Well, that's so important. Yeah, because I'm also a French speaker, so I think it is important
Oh,
to
that's
maintain.
right. Oh
Yeah,
my.
it's important to maintain a second language. So that's really good. Yeah, cool. So about, what are some of the, well, I guess one of the problems, now we can get into one of the issues or problems that I want to actually start solving around the community is understanding, from, Anna, from your perspective, you speak to a lot more people than I. What are some of the issues going on right now around Mexico and Latin America and Central America? The reason I ask this question is, of course, I actually studied international relations, and I'm someone who's very interested in it academically, but also from a content creation perspective. I've always noticed that I have most of my audience scattered around Europe and Africa and Asia, and the Americas, but very few people from Mexico, Latin America, Central America, that region. So what's going on down there in that neck of the woods?
Um, well, I mentioned that I actually, continue uploading videos on my YouTube channel. And by the way, I actually share videos in English and Spanish. I usually do the same video, although as you know, now that I'm getting more subscribers and more content, it's a little challenging to do the same video all the time. But what I noticed, even though I wouldn't tell anyone about my YouTube channel, I would just upload because it's important, as you mentioned, just upload and be consistent. I noticed right away that I would get a lot of messages by email, a lot of messages from people all over in Spain, a lot of questions from people in Spain, but a lot of questions and concerns from people from Mexico, Central, South America, about the whole situation, when you have the visual disability. And because of that, Aaron, I continue uploading. And that's when one day I was sitting and I just figured out, like, I'm blind, but I have a vision. They say that it is critical to have a vision. And now lately I say, we have to have a vision for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year, a vision in life. And, thinking about your Aaron's opinion, Michelle Obama says that we were given a voice that we have to use to make our opinion out there to be heard. And if you alone use that vision and look for a vision, well, that's what I'm doing. And this was actually something that I was able to kind of, I guess, conclude, or because of all the messages that I get from people. Okay, so I know as humans we all have similar situations, because regardless of what society believes about the blind and visually impaired community, we are humans, we are unique, we are we have situations with relationships, money, housing, whatever, depending on your situation. But when you are talking about when you are blind, then this is very different, even though many of the blind, they say, they're happy to be blind, there are no challenges. The reality is that that's true. Okay, so one of the things that I noticed on my YouTube channel more and more in the last years, Aaron, is that people are always sending questions about telling me, sharing that they just lost their sight and they had a car accident, and they just went blind 5 years ago, and they've been in the house, stuck in the house, they lost their job. Other people, lately I get a lot of people from Central and South America sharing that they're having the symptoms of retinitis pigmentosa, glaucoma, and they're working and they're so scared to end up without a job. And always sharing that in those countries, there is not enough information about the visual disability. There is not information or enough information about the eye condition, whatever that one is. And a huge lack of rehab programs, services. I mean, when they watch my videos, even about a liquid indicator, they get very excited. They go like, we didn't even know there is such thing, which, I mean, we don't need a liquid indicator, right, to be able to cook and serve a drink and whatever. Makes it easier, especially when you have guests and whatever, you don't want to stick your finger in there in the drink. But they get very interested, and it seems that with my videos that are very simple, as I always say, they have learned a lot. And I get messages, Aaron, from sighted people. A mom who tells me my son was born blind, and he's 4 and he's 5, and I show him or her my videos, and they send me this. I get emotional. They send me clips of the 5-year-old singing a song for me. They send me a clip of a 3-year-old just saying, "Hi, Anna," and I keep going. That's why my vision, Aaron, is very strong. My vision of inclusion of people with visual disabilities, and they share so much about the difficulties that they're having. And I guess the biggest difficulty is the lack of education, the lack of awareness, the lack of resources that people with a visual disability have in these countries. And the governments, as you know, they're not really doing much, I guess. sometimes I get surprised and shocked that they actually the blind people are the ones that are initiating everything, so they can have some access to jobs. They're the ones who are creating seminars, workshops, and all of that. uh, and they don't wait. They don't wait because the ones that are in position of power, or the lawmakers, are not doing anything about it. A lot of them message me and they say they actually work out in the street singing. Even if they don't sing great, they say they're singing for to get money and survive. They sell candies. But I guess one thing about my channel and your Erin's opinion is that we are reaching out there, even if it's a small population now. But we, as you said, we have to be persistent, because people do benefit from hearing and getting insights and kind of looking at the whole disability in a different way. Because I can keep going on and on, Erin, about people that have told me, I am 38, I went blind 5 years ago, and I actually saw your videos about guidos. And they message me and they go, you send me information, Anna, and thanks to you, now I have a guide dog. I went to Rochester in the United States, and I have a guide dog, and I went back to work. I'm working because I watched your video. Someone just messaged me and told me, Anna, it's been 4 years ago that I was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, and the first video that I watched on YouTube, it was your video, and I'm actually working in a place for the blind, which, by the way, many of them, or many of us, end up working in a place where we work with someone that has a disability, which is great, Erin. But that's to me is kind of reflects how we are not getting opportunities in employment. If we go into the whole employment, even into the United States, in the United States, I always tell them we have rehab programs. They pay for our degrees. They pay for my first master's. I did pay for my second one. Because they don't pay for more than one degree now. About second bachelor's or second master's, they changed that years ago. So I did pay for my second one. And we end up here, even in the United States, we have all these rehab programs, including all those programs for seniors or older people. But once you're talking about applying for jobs, we get very discriminated. And the situation is not the same with all the people that I'm sharing about from Central South America. In Spain, in Spain they have La Once, which means Organization for Spanish People, and they sell since the Franco time, 1937, 1934, I believe. He created this whole program for blind people, selling coupons, lottery tickets. And that's how they work in these little corners on the street, in a kiosk, selling lottery tickets. It has changed, but a lot of them, that's how they have their pensions. That's how they live. But if you're talking about finding a job in any other location, it's hard, just the way it is for all of us around the world.
I think you brought up a really critical point, and I've also noticed the same, is that in the United States, a lot of blind people end up working in careers helping or educating other blind people. And that's great on one hand, but your point is very well taken, that actually that's evidence of how severely blind people are discriminated against in the United States, having nothing to do with Mexico and where you're from, Mexico, and then all those other countries you just mentioned. Even in the United States, we're having this problem with discrimination. And one of the things that I've been noticing on my channel, on my side of the country, is that when blind people are discriminated against enough times, they stop trying. And this is a very, very, very big problem all over the blindness community, is that we could have a lot more blind people being employed right now at this very moment if they would basically stop, basically allowing themselves to, be discriminated against, and just, allowing these negative beliefs to impact their own belief system. But unfortunately, any lie can become true as long as you believe it. And this is what we're seeing around the disability community, even here in the United States. So, I mean, what do you think we need to do to actually start changing the narrative and start actually correcting this problem and provide a real solution?
Aaron, I remember, well, hearing you, I just remember when I was doing my first master's and I was walking at Cal State Fullerton with my white cane. And I remember having central vision, which was a very narrow tunnel vision. And I actually was going down these 5 flight of stairs and I actually end up on the floor. I fell down and I got sensitive. And it was one of those weeks when a lot of things were happening, heading to class and hearing classmates saying, "Hi, Anna," and they would be walking in front of me and not even just letting the door go on my face, I mean, you would think that this is people that are, well, this is what I used to question back then. They're studying to be a psychotherapist, but here they are, just letting, the clothes actually almost get my hand, right? When I was reaching out. And just having professors who they would be just handing out, the syllables or class material. And I would just feel the article flying on top of my head, skipping me. And I can keep going on and on. My point is that there were many times, Aaron, when I was walking at Cal State Fullerton and feeling like going home. And I can remember very clear. There were 3 times when I actually walked towards, the street, heading to the bus stop and saying, you know what, I'm not coming back. I'm leaving. And I remember one of those days just sitting down and writing, because I write my thoughts, my feelings at the end of the day, and writing. No wonder why a lot of my blind people, decides to stay home. No wonder. I mean, I can give you that example in many scenarios when having to go to work, and when Anna works only 15 minutes away, but my transportation gives me a whole tour in Orange County for 2 hours, right? And then you just sit and realize that, okay, I need to train myself taking the public bus. Okay, it's a little challenging if you don't have orientation and mobility skills. Easier with a guide dog. But I mentioned that because I totally understand the disability. I understand the visual disability, right? And when you're talking about people that maybe because they were raised, maybe overprotected, maybe with fears that are, I mean, I totally understand. I totally hear my people that is afraid of getting out there, having lived that. And I totally understand when my people in Central and South America tell me, Anna, you have very accessible streets in the United States. That's why you show that on your videos. We don't have that. We have halls. We have a lot of vendors, merchants, who have their merchandise on the floor. And people in Mexico, Aaron, I've seen it. I was shocked to actually see there. I was born there, but I grew up here. So when I go there, everything is like so different. People actually to walk when they go out, they don't walk on the sidewalk. They actually walk off the sidewalk where the cars are parked, and the traffic is running either on the right or the left. That is dangerous, but that's what they have to do because there is so many people on the streets. Doors open, signs, bicycles, poles, holes. People steal those leads on the electricity or the switch thing to sell it. And I've heard stories from people where they say, Anna, I actually end up there until someone took me out full of myself, all full of myself, that I had to go back home and take a shower, a good shower. So I mention all of that because when I talk this, when I discuss this topic, Aaron, people get very sensitive. And they always remind me, you think my situation is your situation. So if you have watched my videos, you always hear me saying since the beginning, from Anna's world. I don't represent all the blind community. I always share from my world, from my life experiences. However, when I tell my subscribers, I don't know you in person and I don't know you, Aaron, but just knowing that you have the visual disability, I already know you. I already know how it is to wake up, not being able to see, having to watch every single movement because otherwise you'll go through walls. And we're talking about getting out there to just do everything that any other people do, going to work, going to school, going shopping, going everywhere. But when you talk about actually taking the making the decision to follow that wish of just getting out there and do whatever you have and want and you are able to do, it's not easy because you experience all those things. However, having said that, from my experience and from many other people that they share also with me on Facebook and everywhere, is that, I mean, it's painful. It's painful to say this, but other people might disagree with me. But Erin, people care and they don't care. So
Yeah.
it is people care and they don't care, Erin. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
I know precisely. I know precisely what you're talking about. And that's also part of the problem, is that the problems that we're talking about today are so universal that I don't even have to know who you are to
Exactly.
understand how severe this problem has gotten. So I think one of the things that I will continue to do, and other people have taken me up on this, is that I think if you know people, whether they speak English or Spanish or wherever they're from,
The
it
language and the race and the color doesn't even matter,
it
Erin.
doesn't
I
it
mean, we're
doesn't matter.
humans. We know all these people from Chile and Argentina and Honduras who message me. Oh, you should hear their stories. If it's very sad. Maybe not. It's horrible, sad. And when I think about, some they decided people, Aaron, that message me, and it's a message that I've been getting a lot in the last years, and I have to be honest. I read the messages and I have tears running down my cheeks because it's someone who tells me, "Oh, I don't know how, but I found your channel," or someone shared your video on Facebook. I click on it, and let me tell you that there is a 20, a 15-year-old, a 10-year-old. This is different people, right? Or even a 60-year-old who they were born blind, and the family, they're hiding them. They're in the house, just like this is what the word they're using. I'm not saying that I'm the one that's saying it, but they say they're just living like animals because they're embarrassed, because they think someone that is blind is not worth it. It's not, never will be able to do anything. So people actually are in somewhere in the world are living that, and I feel that I get very emotional. If you know Anna is very emotional. They say that I think with my heart and not with my head. But and I just can't, I can process that, Aaron. So if I when I say that, we are different individuals, we are unique individuals, just with different, different, just a lot different person. But when we're talking about the blindness here, I know how it is for you to have the disability, and I know how challenging it is. But people care, and they don't care, and it is up to you to actually. I always say, find your vision and reach out for help. Checking Aaron's podcast, checking Aaron's YouTube channel, and see what Aaron is doing, and get ideas. Get in contact with one of us, with our community. I always say that we are the experts, although there is a whole disagreement in how we should go about things, right? That's why, from my point of view, we the blind have not been able to reach a good level of inclusion, or even inclusion in this sided world, because we are not united, which
But
is a whole
no,
topic.
right. So now we are. So one of the things that I was going to say was that if you know someone, if you know Anna, if you know, for one thing, um, I think that blind people should get into podcasting. And I think that some of these people, some of your friends, some of your fellow blind people that you know in these other countries, should speak up and should create a podcast if they're able. Record their voice, record something, post it on Facebook. What I'm saying is people have to speak up, and people have to start educating others. If I mean, just think on it. If one of those people in Chile is said, to all of their friends on Chile on Facebook, just even their friends, let's say they have 1,000 friends, and they create a voice note just for their friends, and they say, here are all of the challenges I'm having, and here's what you need to know about my life as a blind person in Chile, let's say. Now, how much of an impact would that have? That would be massive. That could be massive. I could also be misinformed myself, but I think that sometimes some of these people need to get into podcasting or something like it, some method of them sharing their stories to first of all start educating people about the truth, about what's really happening. That's another huge thing. Second, I usually say this off the air when I'm not recording, but Anna, if there's anyone in the entire world, entire universe that you would like me to interview here on Aaron's Opinion, I would love to do so because I love interviewing people from other countries, other parts of the universe, and knowing that I'm helping just one person, right? What's
There
what?
is a lot of people, Aaron, that I have in mind because a lot of people have always asked me, and they've been asking for years. I'm guilty of this. They always asking, Anna, how come interview me? And I have so much. And after my channel was monetized, oh, imagine how much work I have on my channel, even though it's simple. And I'm not getting paid for the interviews. I have to say that I have been offered a lot on my YouTube channel to create videos where they start paying you some here and there, um, well, which is a whole story. I was gonna say that I love what you just mentioned. We have to share our opinion. We have to share. We all have a voice, like Michelle Obama says. We all have a voice that we can use to share our opinion and to share our vision. And I don't know if you have heard me, but I always say, because people always tell me like, oh, I don't want to create a YouTube channel because every single blind person has a YouTube channel and a podcast. And I
No,
say,
they
if you
don't.
if you focus on that, and that's your reason why you're not sharing your opinion, your voice or your vision about the vision of inclusion, then we're not gonna be able to do anything. Because I mean, I always, even in my on my clubhouse rooms lately, I've been telling them, please, we talk about this topic, but go on your social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, make a posting about what we just talked here, because this is gonna help. And I always invite everyone, Aaron, to open up a YouTube channel, a podcast, radio, a blog, anything, even your social platforms. Write about this. I have to say that people do comment and say like, Anna, you only talk about the blindness. Sighted people on Clubhouse, they have come and invited me to bring followers to their club in Spanish and English, and they always go like, but Anna, if you can create a topic that is not related to the blindness, that would be great, because it's not all about the blind. I go, yeah, because you don't live the blindness. You're the one that has a job. You're the one that is easy for you just to go ahead and drive and apply for a job and not get discriminated. I'm sure you might get discriminated for other reasons, but it is critical that we actually share there, not sharing about only that you just had lunch this morning, today at whatever location. Share about the vision, share your opinion. And yes, Aaron, I do have people that I'm sure they would be very interested in collaborating with you, so you can actually spread awareness and spread the what's going on in other countries.
Yeah,
I was
I
telling,
would.
I was telling people on Clubhouse that as belonging to the blind community or the visually impaired community, the blindness is not only here inside the United States, Aaron, and it is our responsibility to reach out outside the United States. Our blind people is in worse condition, living in worse situations than what we have here in the United States.
You are absolutely correct. Yeah. So definitely, I mean, this, and by doing this interview, I'm also helping you too. So I mean, if we both start interviewing some of these people from different walks of life around the world, I mean, we could really help the entire world. It really would help the whole world. And it's really important. I think that both of us have opinions. We both have a voice, and I think that we need to use it, because I think a lot of blind people are too shy. I mean, a lot of blind people will just go watch your videos. They'll just go watch someone else's videos. There's a lot of content creators who are blind, but certainly not all blind people are content creators. Definitely. Yeah.
No, and you asked me a few minutes ago. Excuse my blabbing. I get so passionate
No
about this
problem.
topic.
I want passionate. I want you to be passionate, and I want you to blab. So that's what
Someone,
I
yes,
want.
someone yesterday asked me, "You're not upset, are you?" I go like, "No, I just get so passionate about because I know what you're saying. Like people need to share out there. We need
Right.
to actually share out. Find first of all, find your vision and work on getting your opinion across,
Yeah. Yeah.
and use that voice that you were given. And you know what? We all have talents, right? Some people tell me like, "Oh, nice, because I don't have the talents like you do." I go like, believe it or not, years ago I used to say like, "Oh, I don't have any talents." All my blind people, they know how to sing, they know how to play all these instruments.
Right.
But you know what? And I go like, and I don't. What's special about Anna, right? And then people used to, believe it or not, my own blind people, they comment a lot on, "Oh, you have such a thick accent." I go, "Yeah, but at the end I'm the bilingual one, and you're just speaking English." All right, just to make myself feel better. And but you
Okay,
you
but I
asked me.
mean, right, right. Oh, so yeah, that's just. See, so oh, you mean? Oh, wait, Anna, I didn't know that there were blind trolls. The word in English is trolls. I didn't know. I didn't know there were trolls. I thought only sighted people could be trolls. How can a blind person be a troll?
Yeah, you would be surprised. But you asked me,
Oh
Aaron,
boy.
what's the solution for our people not to be just at home, lonely, isolated, and not really sharing their vision, sharing their opinion, sharing their voice, or making I don't know, contributing to the whole. Because what you hear from our blind people is one thing that you hear from them all the time, even if they're just at home. And excuse me, my blind people and my visually impaired people, um, is complaining that we're not included, but we're not actually doing anything about it.
Right.
Action is what it takes. I told them, and on Clubhouse the other day, um, there was someone from the United States who he says he was very active in the whole movement of the ADA. In those days when people went out there and they demonstrated, and a lot of people on wheelchair, 50 of them just park across the street in front of this building. I guess it was a federal building, and they just park and block the street, and they actually crawl, of their wheelchair, and crawl up the stairs, Aaron. And they say like, it needs action. We need to demonstrate. We need to do something about it. And I told them, I'm ready. They call me the Mexican Rosa Parks. My Spanish people, they call me the Mexican Rosa Parks. I am so ready. And we actually need to get into action. I'm not asking you to just, right away go in front of the White House and demonstrate, but we need to start sharing. Even if people go like once my brothers saw my videos, they were sharing on their Facebook, and then they stop after 2 months, and they go like, "Oh, Anna, there is a lot of haters out there. Decided, decided haters." I go like, "What are you talking about?" I go, "My wife, my friends are getting jealous because you're so beautiful." I go like, "Wow, okay, just for that I forgive you, because they're jealous about my beauty, not my brain." And but my mate, I share that because, I mean, even if your family or friends or no one cares about your videos, and not, you just put that content out there. And I guess my solution, or my opinion, Aaron, about, you asked me what do you think should be done. For me, I don't know. We are all different. I'm gonna share with you what I got very upset, Aaron, when I went blind. I was very angry. For years I was depressed, and then angry. And when I realized that people care, and they don't care, even family members, because they go on with their life. They go out to work, they go out to dating and getting married and having children, and then here and there calling you, and you could be struggling. That's why I'm very independent. And if you check my videos, I share with you the reality of being blind. I don't edit my videos and hide the thing that where I made a mistake. No, I share with you that I'm, sharing with you, like, here I go crossing the street, and they tell me like, "You almost end up on the line," and I go like, "That's right. How come you didn't cut that? Because it was sad seeing you doing that." I go like, "No, let's show the reality. That's how it is to be blind." um, I'm not gonna just edit. No, it is hard, but I got upset. And I'm telling you, that's why I say people care and they don't care, and you have to use that. You have to get use that anger to make it into something positive, make it into the blindness, turn that into the strength, and start reaching out. Watch Aaron, watch my videos, watch other blind people out there on YouTube. And if something that they share works for you, and get ideas and start by posting something on Facebook, sharing. And I'm going to stop here to tell you that we all have talents. And I'm sure that many out there, many of you will know, if you enjoy creating a radio show or YouTube or whatever, that's the way. That's the way. And I promise you that that is going to not only help you to share, but you're going to start getting another outlook in life, and you will actually end up doing much, much more, even, getting yourself ready in a training, maybe going back to school, maybe getting a job, and just living and enjoying. I always say living, not existing, because there is a difference between living and existing. And I promise you that you're not going to be home, and the day is not going to be enough. My day, Aaron, is never enough. That's why you see me sending you messages late, because I never, the day is not enough for me to do whatever I have to do. So I have no time to continue thinking about like, oh, I'm blind, oh, I'm sad. Oh, no, I'm so focused on my vision. And I will say my vision is my mission. So here I go. Aaron, I hope I responded to your question.
Yeah, you most definitely did, and perfectly. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, and if anyone, I mean, I think it's safe for me to say that I am evidence and a product of this whole interesting equation. Trust me, guys, Anna has a lot more subscribers than me on YouTube. She has a lot more reach of people who she can contact all over the world. And I do not have a large audience, but I have a great audience and a supportive audience. So you just have to figure out who your audience is and who those people are. And surprisingly enough, those people are very loyal listeners or viewers of your content. So if anyone, I mean, if I can do this, definitely anyone else could and should and must, for sure. But
And you know what? Thanks to your podcast and your YouTube channel and my YouTube channel, here we are, right?
And here we are.
That's how we connected, and that's how they're gonna get connected with us. And
I never, right, with us working together, we'll connect everybody else, and that's really my mission, and that's really what. By the way, what is my slogan? Do you know what my slogan is? I really have to put you on the spot a little bit here. What's my slogan?
Oh my gosh, you got me.
I got you. Okay, help one person, help one person today, help a million people tomorrow.
So yes, I did read that. I saw it. I did. Say it again. Say it again, because I interrupted you.
No problem. Help one person today, help a million people tomorrow.
I read it, and that captured my attention. And I will say, John, the vision of inclusion, because your vision is your mission. Right?
So I of course, you correct. Of course, I have to ask you. So have you watched any of my videos? And I like to ask, what was the most interesting thing that you've learned from me so far with all of the content I've produced for the community?
I did check several. I didn't watch the whole thing. I'm not going to lie. It's one thing you're going to learn, or you're going to get to know about Anna now that we're in contact and we're becoming friends, is that I say things out there, straightforward. I don't go around and pretend. I always say this doesn't make much sense in English, but I'll always say the people say that I'm very transparent. I am. I don't pretend to be somebody else. So just the way you're listening to me right now, that's how I am in real life. And if you spend a whole day with me, we're going to have a lot of fun. Just laughing and getting lost and eating and going somewhere and capturing a video. But I didn't watch a whole video. I checked several. One thing that captured my attention is your way of speaking, all clear and proper and fluent. I wish I could speak like that, like you. And your interviews, they go pretty well. The content is quality. If you check my videos are noisy and they're all over the place. You are very, very prepared, I can say. I don't know, but I have to go back and check more content.
Yeah.
check and see what else. I saw several of your videos, click on several of them. But hey, I'm gonna go ahead and share with everyone your content, because one thing that is lacking in our community, Aaron, is that we don't support each other. We're
No, and
just
that's
haters. We're
exact.
haters. We're
And,
haters, and that's we're not gonna achieve
well,
anything.
the,
We do that.
well, the majority. Okay, it's not so much that we're haters. The major. I mean, yes, yes, and no. Um,
I'm
what's happening?
overgeneralizing.
A little. What's happening is we have an enormously high number. The thing is, there are more people that listen and watch us than there are people like us that produce other things to be listened to or watched. In other words, more people watch YouTube than produce the videos themselves, because if it was so easy, everyone would produce the videos themselves. What we have is the people towards the top of the pyramid are are not willing to, basically, to use a figure of English poetry, I guess. Some people at the top of the pyramid are not, really willing to climb down from their ivory tower and speak to the people at the bottom of the pyramid who are still making a huge impact. And your willingness to speak to me, not that you are or are not at the top of the pyramid. Don't worry. I wouldn't just.
Not at all. Not at
I
all.
wouldn't just. I'm not
Not
just.
at all.
I'm not just gonna like. I'm not. I don't stroke guest ego that easily or at all. But the
No,
fact that
my
you were
gosh.
willing to, the fact that you were willing to speak to me today means really so much to me, and hopefully to the listeners and supporters of Aaron's Opinion around the world. So I really appreciate it. So I
I
mean,
appreciate one thing that
yeah,
I
yes,
have
yes,
to
yes,
say
yes.
about your podcast is that one thing that captured my attention is because a lot of my subscribers, they've been suggesting for me to interview people, and that is the way to well, I noticed on you interview people, right? So
Right.
I got to listen to some of your the people that you interview, and I got interested in hearing their, what they had to share. And that's the way to spread, about the whole um blind community, hearing people's stories, because I can share with you a lot on how I go shopping, on how I go to the store, but we need to, this that is a very small sample, right, of the blind population. We need to reach out and share others. And well, that's what I was thinking while I was listening to one of your podcasts. This is not just someone that is blind, it's someone that is out there making a big difference, just like other people, right? And there are many, 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 many of us do that. I know that I say, well, that are haters. And I'm not talking about the sighted community. As I said, is my brothers are like, oh, Anna, those females are haters. It has to do with probably something else, not the blindness. But I think it's great. It's great that you're interviewing people, and that's how you are letting others hear those stories, which, by the way, are powerful.
No, I appreciate it, and I would love it at some point if you would interview me. I think you should get into some sort of a podcast, but one of the things that I was going to mention to you, or ask, is, so what are some of your most unusual hobbies that I would never guess that actually you're doing, or that actually I'm interested in? So what are some of your hobbies? What do you do when you aren't doing all of this great content creation work?
My hobbies is just getting out there. I'm always, if anything is going, wrong, or I'm not feeling well, because I did allow myself to, those 10-15 minutes of just getting upset or angry or whatever, kicking, yelling, screaming, because it's a way for me to just acknowledge that I'm frustrated. And then I just get up, get pretty. I love to just, I'm into fashion and whatever my fashion is, my blind fashion. And I just love going out there, going, even if it's across the street to Starbucks, or to get a coffee, to get a donut. Those days, someone from all these girls from Central South America, they've been sending the same question, and they don't know each other. Anna, what do you do during those stinky days? And
Hmm.
and I did a quick video at the Hawaiian barbecue, just eating a bunch of French fries with Pepsi and ice. I go like, that's not the best meal ever, but I allow myself just to enjoy, maybe not every day, but maybe once a month or whatever. So for me, my hobby is getting out there, going to a restaurant, going to the store. Sometimes I was telling them maybe I'm using my emotional canes, what they say in psychology. I'm using all those emotional canes, and I go shopping to feel better. Maybe it's not a good idea, not if that is hurting your pocket. But for me, it's that going somewhere, getting together with a friend to have coffee, have all my friends that, we meet once a week or once a month. My aunt is a huge therapy for me. I love my auntie. She's almost 80. And one of my huge, huge, huge ones is reading, playing with my retired guide dog. She's been with me for 8.5 years. Believe it or not, I don't know in what moment she learned to only play whenever I play cumbia music, and I play with her, and that makes me happy. Hey, I can add much more, but those are some of the huge, talking to friends. But even now, there is not much time to speak to people. My time is so limited now, more and more. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, that's so good. I mean, I think that you could continue to be an even bigger voice in the Spanish speaking community because because I don't speak Spanish myself, I don't know of too many other YouTubers who are also Spanish speakers who have, come to the level on YouTube that you have, earned and received through your hard work on YouTube. So, I mean, there might be other content creators similar to you, but I certainly wouldn't know of them. So that's why it's really
No,
important.
I've seen one more, which, by the way, I don't like to brag about it, but a lot of the people that are open and that have opened up a YouTube channel, um, within the Spanish community, is they message me, and I want to open up a YouTube channel, can you tell me how? And I have, throughout these last years, I've told them how to do it, and they have the YouTube channel. There is someone else that I think I saw a video in English and Spanish, but she's learning English. But no, I think I'm the only one. Let me tell you here that your podcast, or for any of you that English is your primary language, my blind people are always looking for podcasts from someone, podcast, YouTube, whatever, where they actually can listen to your podcast and practice English. That's like a huge one. So I already have you in mind because your English is so well enunciated, so clear, and I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Not only they tell me, not only because they watch my videos in English and Spanish, and they go, I was able to understand, and I follow along because you did the one in Spanish, and then when I watched the English, and they always ask, can you send me some a blind YouTuber, a blind podcaster, or someone so I can practice? And I tell them, yeah, sure. Um, so not only they learn from your content, but they're actually learning English with you, Aaron.
Yeah, that's so nice. That's so nice. You can definitely send them over to my channel.
You probably
Um,
didn't even think about that, but that's one of the big ones.
that's definitely true, and probably I have a lot more of an audience than I'm even aware because so much of the audience are people who are too shy to speak up. So who knows really how much of an impact this is causing? I mean, this conversation is being held right now in I guess it's all. I, the days on the calendar fly around so fast. I can barely keep track of the days of the week. I'm glad the phone tells me. It's so hard to tell what the days are. It's all a blur. But we're holding this podcast in August. I don't think it'll drop out on the channel until January because there are so many great interviews that have already been recorded from all over the world ahead of yours. So I broadcast out every
Mm-hmm.
Thursday. So I think that this is having a huge impact. But yeah, I mean, I think that you should continue to be to keep producing these videos in English and Spanish and things like that. um but yeah, definitely. So I mean, we've been speaking a lot today. I'm sure that you have a lot of questions for me, some stuff that you really want to know. As you know, towards the end of any interview here, I say, are there any huge questions that you really want to ask me, to really make me sweat and to see if I'm, really really worth my salt as a podcaster. I mean, we are basically, we have time for one more question, and then I'm going to give you some time to basically promote, give your plug, as we say. But what question do you really want to ask me about Aaron Richmond? Remember that no question can offend me, and I appreciate the most critical questions. So what do you really want to know?
Maybe two questions. One, were you born with the disability, the visual disability, or you acquired that later in life? The biggest one is, so when Aaron is gone from Earth, what do you want to leave behind? How do you want them to remember Aaron?
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful question. So I was born blind with glaucoma and a congenital heart defect. So one thing that I would like to tell you is that, again, like you said, people care and they don't care. Well, I can say I understand and I don't understand. I understand what it's like to be blind. However, I can never understand what it must be like to be a sighted person, and then have to become blind and have to adjust that. I can't comprehend that concept. So it must be really bizarre. Anyway, what I want to leave behind is I want to leave behind knowledge that helped others and helped people to have a better day. And if we would all just do that a little bit more, you, me, hopefully others, that would help so much more. In this day and age, in this world right now, Anna, if it's like, if one person would help even a tiny bit, would help a lot. Or, as I like to say, if we would just help one person today, we will definitely help a million tomorrow. There you go.
That's it. Thank you.
So if someone wants to get in touch with Anna at Blind with a Vision, how would they do that?
Yeah, they can look me up on YouTube, and it's Blind with
click the link in the description.
Click the link in the description, of course. You can also find me on Facebook, same, Blind with a Vision. On Instagram, Blind with a Vision 2020. Clubhouse, Blind with a Vision, on my club, Blind with a Vision, which we're having powerful rooms, powerful conversations relevant to, this the blind and visual disability life. And yes, on Twitter, I use Twitter now now that I'm actually been practicing the Twitter Spaces. So Twitter, I've never been a Twitter person, but it seems like now I am just getting into the whole thing. But my main one is my YouTube channel, Blind with a Vision, where I actually will continue sharing. And it's been my vision has been kind of changing on how I want to go about. Was able to reach to monetize my YouTube channel, so that was great. And gave me more courage to continue. But more than anything, is just helping people out there with my very simple YouTube videos. If someone can learn a little bit or something, and even if it's just 1, 2, 3, or 4 people, hey, I reach my vision is working.
There you go. Anna, it really has been an honor and pleasure having you here at Aaron's Opinion. Know that sadly enough, you have not gotten rid of me this easily. You are a forever member of Aaron's Opinion and the beautiful global community, global family we have here at Aaron's Opinion. Of course, thanks so much. And you are always welcome to guest here anytime you like. I look forward to the guests that maybe you can share this with and bring on some really interesting characters from all over the world. I would love to interview them. And this has been the most, every interview is the best. And this interview is the best interview. So there you go. You are always welcome, and have a great day.
Thank you for inviting me. I'll see you next time.